come on, man. Don't call it a comeback. We back, y'all. We back. We know it's been a hot minute. How long? It's been 2 months now, right, friend?
Mm-hmm.
Because the reason that we've been gone, y'all, is because finals hit me like a truck from hell. Oh my goodness, I have been working tirelessly for like the past month and a half. Initially, me and TJ were going to record a lot during the spooky season because we had rewatched a lot of our favorite horror movies, and there was a few we wanted to watch and discuss, like the new Five Nights at Freddy's movies. So we will definitely do that throughout the rest of this month because it's spooky season every month. Why do you need to wait until October just to watch spooky movies? You feel me? But yeah, we have a lot to catch up on, my friends. On today's agenda with the Being Effing For Real pod, me and TJ will be talking about drum roll, please. In no particular order, Loki Season 2, the Jonathan Majors controversy and his now permanent removal from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Diddy sexual allegations, the double standards between Jonathan Majors and Ezra Miller when it comes to handling, what's the word that I'm looking for? Offense cases. We also have Zionist celebrities, the Abbott Elementary current controversy. Some of these Zionist celebrities may vary from Noah Schnapp and Gal Gadot, most notoriously recently. And Melissa Barrera fired from Screen 7, I believe, because she has spoken out against what's going on in Palestine right now. And Jenna Ortega, her fellow co star, had actually quit a day later in her defense, as she should. But you know the vibes, y'all. Let us begin what me and TJ have been watching lately. I'll let you have the mic, friend.
Okay, so I haven't been watching a thing lately because I've been once again back in my YouTube era. But when I was watching stuff, I finally had finished Cruel Summer. I also finally had finished Shelter, and guess what? They both got canceled. So
Mm-hmm.
we love to hear it. Yeah, I watched and finished Goosebumps. That was amazing. I loved Goosebumps so much. Also follow me on Serialized. I'm there at T Critiques. That's where I post most of my TV show reviews. But I mean, I feel like reviewing TV shows is so much more difficult than reviewing movies. Like you just watch a movie once, you just like review it real quick. But with a TV show, I have to remember to review each episode, and I don't. So yeah, also Doctor Who has come back, which is like the most exciting piece of news, I think. Doctor Who started airing
Mm-hmm.
again back in November with the 60th anniversary specials. David Tennant came back, and so did Catherine Tate. They both reprised their roles as well. David Tennant came back as a new role as the 15th, the 14th Doctor. He was basically just the 10th Doctor 2.0, not even 2.0, 3.0, mind you. Because there are like
Mm-hmm.
three different versions of him running around for absolutely no reason. And then Catherine Tate reprised her role as Donna Noble, as did the character's mother and the character's husband. And they introduced the role of Rose Noble, played by the actress, forgot her name. Um, but yeah, that's what that was about. Surprisingly, Neil Patrick Harris was also a main villain in the special, which like random,
Really?
but I mean, he did his thing. He was good. um, yeah, the specials they weren't great. They definitely were not 60th anniversary material. I feel like the Power of the Doctor, Jodie's last episode, really took that away from them because like that was 60th anniversary potential, like because they like brought back old companions and they brought in new companions, and this one just did not do that. As far as the anniversary specials go, this one is definitely at the bottom of the list. Not great, not great. But yeah, I am super
Mm.
excited. But Shuti Gatwa actually made his first appearance in episode 3 of the special. He came in as the 15th Doctor, and he honestly took over the screen. Like, I've never seen him in anything else. I don't watch Sex Education, so this is my first time seeing him acting, and he really like came in and like just stole the show. And I am really excited for him because he could like potentially take over as my second favorite doctor, which is a hard role to beat. Nobody's taking over as my first favorite doctor. That's Matt Smith. That's 11. But he can definitely he definitely has the potential to be my first one. And a few leaks about the new series got spread around on Reddit and Twitter. And if they are true, I will definitely be sad. I'm kind of excited for it. It's very much so drama filled, very much so flipping the typical companion doctor relationship on its head. Basically, friend, the leak was that, well, usually the doctor has a female companion, and the female companion sometimes falls in love with the doctor, and the doctor usually doesn't return those feelings, and it like gets weird, and like there's like a power imbalance, and like the female companion trying to like prove themselves, and that oftentimes gets them killed. But with this new series, allegedly based on the leak, the new female companion, which is Ruby Sunday, played by Millie Gibson, she's going to have a boyfriend who is actually played by Prince Eric from the new Little Mermaid. I don't know the man's name. Um,
Yeah, I don't either.
I think it's like Jonathan or something. I don't know. Anyways, he is going to play Ruby Sunday's boyfriend, and basically he is going to fall in love with the doctor, and the doctor may actually return those feelings for him, which is a drama-filled situation if I ever heard one. Like, what? The doctor stole your man? That's crazy. But I'm gonna be sad for that. I'm super excited for that. And that's pretty much all I've been watching besides like the a plethora of horror movies. Basically, I'm on like a kick where I either watch a horror movie that has a weird like time loop or alternate universe thing, or a horror movie that's like found footage or a mockumentary type things. Like those like some of my favorite genres in horror movies. So that's what I've been watching. I have like a whole list for it on my letterbox. But what about you, friend? I'm talking forever. What about you? What are you watching, friend?
No, you're good, friend. You always love hearing you talk. Honestly, friend, like I said, my finals have been kicking my behind this last month and a half. I haven't really been able to watch too many movies, let alone a TV show, because I think it takes a lot longer to finish a TV show. But of course, I remember to take breaks here and there. I don't want to like overblow my brain. So, a particular show that I've been watching on and off, like throughout my time completing my final exams, and now that my exams are finally over, I could finally just like power through the last 3 episodes of the season. It's a rather, yeah, I'm very sure it's a very recent show. I think it actually came out back in September. It's a Hulu original series called Black Cake. It's a drama about an elderly woman from Jamaica. And the show opens up with her, like, towards the end of her life, where she's already, like, made it really, like she's wealthy and stuff, and she left her inheritance to her children, but she actually passes away in the very opening of the show. And then we immediately flash back to when she was a young girl in Jamaica, and her upbringing and stuff, of all the trials that she had to endure to get where she was in the opening scene. Like, pretty much the show is explaining like how like she became wealthy, and that money's not clean, to say the least. So it was a really interesting twist. And yeah, it's quite hard to explain the show without spoiling way too much, honestly. But if you like dramas with some mystery, it's definitely your kind of show. It's a little bit of a slow burner, and honestly, I enjoy slow burners like that because it's like, let's say you have a slow burner that doesn't keep your interest with the suspense, I probably wouldn't have been as engaged. And as for movies, hang on a second, friend. Sorry, friend, my mom was texting me that. As for movies, this morning I was actually watching the Super Mario movie that came out back over the summer. It's on Netflix now. I have still not gotten around to watching it, so I was let me just like knock this out of the way. It's a fun little like kids animated film. And I played a lot of the Super Mario games like when I was younger, so like some scenes were definitely like very nostalgic for me. I was like, oh, I got that reference. And then for movies that are on my list, I still have to watch Barbie, which
Mm-hmm.
is streaming currently on. I know, y'all. I know, y'all. I definitely gotta watch Barbie, the
So
cultural
basically, y'all,
phenomenon of 2023.
what you're hearing is that this man hates women, just like letting you know, alert, alert, announcement.
How dare you?
You also have yet to watch Five Nights at Freddy's. He also hates Chuck E. Cheese, apparently, the animatronics, craze
He's
balls.
really
Also,
up my
friend,
butt up today, y'all.
you said you're watching to All the Boys series.
Yes, how could I almost forget about that? That shout out to my friend Ariel that she has me watching the trilogy of To All the Boys That I Ever Loved, which I recently just learned is now based on a book series, from what you told me.
Yeah,
And I've only seen the first one so far with her. I gotta say I quite enjoyed it. It was definitely really different from what I was expecting because I was really thrown off by the opening scene. That once the main character, whose name I don't remember at the moment, that she was like that, like I'm in
Laura.
love with my sister's boyfriend. I'm like, what? What is this girl got me watching? This is absolutely trifling. But then, and then I was like, okay, just hang in there. But then I found out that the boyfriend that was of her sister was actually her best friend. I was like, okay, that makes things less trifling. Okay, that makes things less trifling. Because I was gonna say that you're in love with your sister's boyfriend. What is this?
Yeah, her
But
name is
yeah,
Laura Jean Covey. The main character is
mhm.
Laura Jean Covey. Yeah. Also, shout out your friend Ariel because I love that movie series. I also love that book series. I read the book before the movies came out. I was like super excited to learn that the movies were going to come out about it. I loved that. The same author who made the books also went on to make the shows Exo Kitty, also on Netflix. I never saw that. And then whatever that show is on Prime Video with that girl named Belly and Conrad and like whatever the other guy's name
Mm,
is. Never seen that show. I forgot what it was called. But people like it.
mm.
So yeah. Hold on, I'm gonna
And
look
in
up what
my
it's
defense,
called.
friend, oh no, I was just gonna say in rebuttal, in my defense of not seeing Barbie and Five Nights at Freddy's, that when Barbie had came out back in July, I was actually on vacation like the first week that it came out, and when I came back home, it was a little over 2 weeks later that our first idea was to go see either Barbie or Oppenheimer. And Barbie was still surprisingly packed for like almost 3 weeks later. There was just no seats available, so we just wanted to go see Oppenheimer instead, which I really enjoyed. But that's a story for another day. And for Barbie, I guess my family just really wasn't that eager like to see it at the time, so we just waited until it streamed on HBO Max, and now here finally we are. So there's that, and then my rebuttal excuse of why I haven't seen Five Nights at Freddy's, my finals. That's really about it.
Yeah, the show with Belly is called The Summer I Turned Pretty, and friend, allegedly that show is weird because apparently she's like in love with two different brothers. It's like Vampire Diaries, but like
Mm-hmm.
without the supernatural aspect. She's just like in love with two different brothers, and they both love her, and like. But at one point, I think she marries one of the brothers, but then divorces them and gets with the other brother afterwards, which is a choice. But people like it, so I'm not gonna knock people. I mean, I will judge, but I won't knock you. So yeah, are you ready to get into the main portion, friend? Now let's take a little break to hear from our sponsors. It's summertime, guys, which means it's the prime time for festivals and concerts. This festival season, planning for faster, efficient hydration is essential. Liquid IV has you covered while you prep before, power through to the headliner, and recover after the weekend. Its convenient packaging and delicious flavors like watermelon and hydrating feeling keeps me coming back for more. One stick of Liquid IV and 16 ounces of water hydrates you 2 times faster and more efficiently than water alone. They have 12 delicious, refreshing flavors to keep your hydrating routine exciting. Made with premium ingredients, non-GMO, and free from gluten, dairy, and soy. This is the perfect thing to keep you hydrated this festival season. Get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use code BFFRPOD at checkout. That's 20% off anything you order when you shop hydration today using promo code BFFR at liquidiv.com.
We back, y'all. Sorry, little technical difficulties.
Yeah. All right. So first things first, one of the best, if not the best, MCU shows came back this fall, which
Mm-hmm.
was Loki. Loki came out with a season 2, still 6 episodes, and that was the finale of Loki the series. It means they only had 2 seasons and 12 episodes total. And friend, they made a big impact. Like, it was such a
Mm-hmm.
good closing on the character of Loki. And this is coming from someone who has only seen like 2 Thor movies. I don't give a crap about Thor. I could care less about Thor. I just he's no his characterization as a character just no, and then it went downhill like from the weird fat Thor thing they did in Endgame to Thor Love and Thunder. Well, actually,
Okay, I can't disagree with that.
I liked Thor Love and Thunder. I thought it was cute. But also mind you, that was like the second Thor movie I saw. But yeah, I enjoyed that movie. I feel like y'all was taking it too seriously. You know, you came in there expecting cinematic greatness, but you have to remember, it's Thor. My expectations were very low, and I had fun. So that's what matters to me. But Loki, on the other hand, he's like, I don't understand how they like fumbled the bag with Thor so bad, but like gave Loki such a great treatment. Like that's just super duper confusing to me. But yeah, and then we had and then this leads into the whole Jonathan Majors thing. But Jonathan Majors came back and reprised
Mm-hmm.
his role as the character of Kang, the Conqueror. He was basically like sort of the villain. And then also this season of Thor, they like really stepped away from like the whole self-cessed thing between Loki and Sylvie, which like first of all, what's wrong with self-cessed? It's yourself. I don't know. It's you. Like I now was it weird a little bit? Yes, but I mean, it's not like they're siblings. It's
I guess it's still.
they're literally each other. It's you. Like I would understand if it was like an umbrella academy situation or like life with Derek situation, but like they're not. It's him. It's basically his clone. So I mean, you can't like people can't sit here and look me straight in my face and tell me that if you find out there was a clone of you, you wouldn't try to do something with them because I wouldn't believe you. I
You
wouldn't.
ain't lying.
I would think you were. I think you would lie. Geez, I can speak. I would think you were lying. I would think you were trying to save face and just prove me wrong. But like, that's a lie. You can't because I mean, especially if you like yourself. Like, if you hate yourself, well, I mean, you should fix that. I don't know, but I like me. So, so, but yeah, they stepped away from that. Sylvie, like, high key was done with Loki this season. She just wanted to work at McDonald's and like live her life, which like real. That's very real of her. I also really love Morbius as a character. I'm gonna miss his character so much. I
Right?
wonder if there is like anything else they can do with him because he was such a great character. I mean, that's Owen Wilson, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. Because I get him and that other guy mixed up all the time. You know what I'm
Ben
talking about, friend?
Stiller.
No, the guy from Zombieland. I get them mixed up all the
Woody
time.
Harrelson.
Yes, I get them mixed up all the time. Because like I feel like they've been in something together, and I get them mixed
They
up.
probably have.
But yeah, Owen Wilson is like he's such a great actor. Everybody did so good with this season. The different variants, like actually like learning who the variants of the people in the time thing are. Do you have something to say, Fran? I've been talking for a long time. Yeah, yeah. You have any input?
No, you're good, friend. You're good. Um, yeah, I just wanted to say, spoiler alert, y'all. There's actually quite surprisingly a few of my friends and mutuals that have not seen the second season of Loki, so you have been warned, because we are about to enter spoiler territory. So I was definitely really blown away by the season. To think that the first season was so great. I think the second season even exceeded that in a way that I wasn't expecting. To your point, that it gave such a great conclusion to the character of Loki as a whole in the MCU. I don't think it's likely we're gonna see him again, at least not for a while. Anyways, he might pop up in the future in the next Avengers movie. Who knows? To be honest. Even Tom Hiddleston confirmed on the Jimmy Kimmel show, I believe it was, or was it Jimmy Fallon? I don't know, one of the two, that he views the ending of Loki as a culmination to his 15 years in the MCU, which I'm really thinking to myself, has it really been 15 years since he's in the MCU? Wow, how the time flies. And yeah, we have Jonathan Majors returning as not even just Kang, he returns as He Who Remains, another variant known as Victor Timely, who's the character that he plays the most throughout the season. I don't think there was any other variants that he played in the season, was there? I think it was just He Who Remains and Victor Timely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
we
know,
started
a
talking
friend who
about.
was such a great addition to this season? Huh?
We forgot to talk about Obi. What were you guys say?
No, I was literally just about to say he was such a great addition to this season. The actor that plays him, hang on a second, let me look up his name again. I don't want to
It's
like mispronounce his name. I respect him way too much.
I don't know how to pronounce it either, friend. I'm looking at it right now.
I really hope
He
I'm pronouncing his name right. Ke Huai Kwan. That many
yeah
of us might know him from Everything Everywhere All at Once, and if you love '80s movies like me, you would also know he was Short Round in Indiana Jones, and he was also in The Goonies. So he's been around for quite a minute, and I'm so glad he's getting his flowers finally.
yeah. Oh, his like acceptance speech at that award ceremony was so cute.
I was happy for him.
Yeah, he was like ecstatic. I love to see things like that. But yeah, and also the different callbacks from the main Marvel movies for the Loki series, like the whole how Iron Man said that like there was no throne that he could get, and then also how like the whole them not letting Hulk in the elevator thing, and the thing with his dad where he was like, I can do it for like for you, for all of us,
For
those
all of
things.
us, that was his
Yeah,
last. I did not spot that until you sent me those TikTok edits.
yeah, so those things and those callbacks from like moments of his character and also moments from like the MCU as a whole were like
Mm-hmm.
really cool to see. And then in the end, making him like the god of stories was like a really cool thing. And then also like his the ending to his character is so beautifully tragic. Like his whole arc throughout the Loki series has been that like he didn't want to be alone. He wanted to save his friends. He wanted to be with his friends, but now he's going to be alone forever without his friends. But in the end, he saved his friends. He saved everybody, but he ultimately didn't save himself. Which I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
guess is a complete 360 on how he was once selfish and wanted to conquer things and stuff. I mean, he finally got his throne, but at what cost? The cost of himself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I
Wholeheartedly, friend.
yeah, I really like that. The way it's not a happy ending, but it's an ending nonetheless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree, friend. And to build off of you, going back to the point that Loki had such great additions to the season, like KY Kwan as the character OB. You know who else I feel is a character that just doesn't get enough attention? And I love her as an actress, honestly. I really hope to see her in more projects down the line, not just in the MCU. The actress Wunmi Masaku, that she plays the character Hunter B-15, that I loved her in the first season, was really glad to see her return in the second season in an even more prominent role. To your point, it was really interesting to see how, our main characters in the TV, like Mobius and B-15 and the rest, like we got to see their previous lives that were stolen from them, their original variants that they're based on.
Yeah,
That
and
B-15 was a doctor. OB, he was like a science fiction book writer. And Mobius, he was he was a jet ski, what's the word that I'm looking for? It was just a guy that
Seller?
sells jet skis. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah,
Yeah, a
he was
jet
also a
ski like
father.
seller or whatever. Like he owned a jet ski store. It was a manager at a
Yeah.
jet ski store.
Yeah, he was also a father. He had
Yeah,
two
a
boys.
single dad.
Yeah, he seemed to really love his kids. So, I mean, I wonder what happened to those kids.
Mm-hmm.
Where are the kids? I'd love to know. I wonder if those kids will be ever like become something. That'd be interesting to see. I don't know, friend, but
Mm-hmm.
I hope we see more of each of their characters. Honestly, that be
Yeah,
really
Wumi
interesting.
Masaku, she was also in. I just put two and two together. Both Jonathan Majors and Wumi Masaku, they were both in Lovecraft Country. How did I not put that two and two together?
You just
And
put
it's so
that together.
ironic because yeah, beef it. Don't come at me, friend. Yeah, my memory's a little senile sometimes, but yeah, it's just so crazy because I don't ever. Yeah, I guess B-15 and He Who Remains never shared a scene together, which could have had a little Lovecraft Country reunion.
Yeah,
And I didn't know that Wumi Masaku's British in real life, but she's Nigerian, I believe. I tell you, friends, some of these British
she's
actors really be pulling
British.
off those. Yeah, she's British. Some of these UK actors be pulling off those US American accents a little too well.
No, friend, I just found out okay recently. So you know the show Charmed, the mom in Charmed, not Penny. Hold on, Charmed. What's her name? Oh, Jesus. Her name was Patty. Patty Halliwell. Gosh, apparently her actress in real life is British. I just found that out yesterday, friend. I was
Hmm.
gobsmacked because I was watching this cartoon with my sister, and no, I was watching Scooby Doo.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the one with dinosaurs, and I recognized one of the characters' voices. I was like, wait a minute, I know that's not who I think it is. It was Matthew Gray Goobler. And I was like, that's his voice. So I looked it up, and it was his voice, and I saw that it was the actress from Charm too. So I went to her IMDb. She's from England, friend. Like they be tricking us for real, for real.
I'm telling you, friend, I don't know what it is with these UK actors. Like, you will never see an actor or actress from the United States like playing like a UK character. Like, I think the only exception is this one actress in the Queen Charlotte show that she's an African American actress that plays a character named Lady Danbury, who of course is a British character. And I never would have thought that she was American. She actually pulled off the English accent really authentically. That my friend Ariel, shout out to Ariel Gun, that she told me a story as we were watching Queen Charlotte, that the actress that played young Lady Danbury in Queen Charlotte, when she was auditioning for the role, that she had stood in character in English accent because they didn't want her to know she was American until afterwards. So I thought that was
Yes,
funny.
the that reminds me. Only actor I know who like convincingly pulled off a British accent in a movie was Chloe Grace Moretz.
I know who she is.
In yeah, in the movie Hugo, back in like 2000 something. I don't know, but yeah, I thought she was British when I was watching the movie as a kid, but no, she's American.
Mm.
So yeah, those are people that we can think off the top of our heads, I guess, friend. But
Mm-hmm.
there's like so many English actors that can pull off a convincing like people who are like just not American. Like one person I think of is like Robert Sheehan
Mm-hmm.
from Umbrella Academy. He's actually Irish.
Really?
Yeah, he's Irish. And his accent is thick, friend. But yeah, he can pull off the American accent like really well.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Uh, No, I was just thinking, friend, like, what else can we take apart from Loki? I think just so much really happened in this season. The ending is what really had me thinking the most because, of course, we have the conclusion of the character of Loki, but where does the multiverse saga, like, move on from here? With him, like, now taking He Who Remains place, that he's the god of stories now.
Yeah, I was wondering the same
And
thing.
yeah, it should definitely be interesting because, Jonathan Majors, I'm pretty sure majority of us, no pun intended, have heard now that he's been booted from the MCU, which we will get to in a second. The last thing that I would love to conclude about Loki is the character Sylvie in particular. I feel she was definitely on the bench a bit this season. Like, I don't know, for the most part anyways. What'd you think of Sylvie this season, friend?
She was on the bench this season. I mean, the show is called Loki, and she's not Loki. So, I mean, that kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
They basically put her in like such an opposing role to like what Loki was trying to do. She was basically his opponent this season, trying to like stop him in like every corner. Because basically Loki this season was trying to, I guess, protect or like at least use the one who remains variant to complete a goal.
Mm-hmm.
And Sylvie was like, "Yeah, no, let's kill him." And Loki was like, "Yeah, no." So they were like really butting heads this season. But like when she wasn't trying to butt heads with Loki, she was back at her McDonald's, clocking in. So yeah, hopefully, I
That's
mean, it will be. Hmm?
mhm.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see
No, I
what
would just love to add. Mhm. No, I'm sorry, friend. You first. You first. You know I get
I'm
jittery.
saying. I would it would be interesting to see like what if anything they could do with her character. Like I hope that's not like the last we see of her. But yeah, you go ahead, friend. Friend.
No, friend. I was just gonna add. Like, I know that Sylvie wanted to settle down to have a human life, but girl, McDonald's. Talk about settling for less.
The uniform, not even the modern uniform, them ugly red and yellow uniforms. You couldn't have gone to a
Yeah,
different
she
one.
was in the McDonald's. Right. Why did she go to the McDonald's in like the 70s? It was probably even dirtier back then than it is now.
I don't know. I mean, I would love to live in the 70s. Well, live is a strong word. I'm still black.
I was
But
about to say, friend.
I would love to
Visit,
visit.
visit maybe. Yeah, visit's the key word.
I would love to visit the 70s. But then again, she's a white lady. So if I was a white lady, I would love to live in the 70s. That seems like a great time, party time,
Hmm.
love, drugs, disco.
And
Um,
Star Wars came out in 1977.
but McDonald's, you could have like worked at like, I don't know, Macy's,
Right. She could have
maybe.
became because there was that one guy in the second season of Loki whose name I do not remember. He literally created the life for himself as a famous movie actor. And it's like Sylvie couldn't have done something similar. She could have been a model, a ballet dancer, but she chose
Well,
to work at freaking McDonald's.
I mean, she was technically hiding from them, so she couldn't have did something big because she was still
Well,
hiding from them.
I guess I didn't really think that through. That makes a lot more sense that you say it now.
Yeah, because the guy who became an actor, they found him so easily because they were like, "Oh, we can just—he's an actor. We know where he is." So yeah, Sylvie was trying to stay low key, but like you can stay low key at like a clothing store, babe. You don't got to work at McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you have magic.
Right.
Like, do something. I don't know. Be the manager and don't be back there flipping burgers and making fries.
No, that could we talk? We need to give OB the spotlight for a second. Like, I had the biggest smile on my face every time he popped on screen. Like, I absolutely love this scene in particular when Loki he kept time jumping back and forth, and it's like remember he gave OB the handbook for the TVA, and then because he met OB's variant that was a science fiction book writer, and then like he had to wait, and then that version of OB like came back 15 years later with like a random like machine that he made out of the TVA book, and it was just like such a funny mess in the timeline because it's like, wait, did this happen first? Did this happen first?
Yeah, that was really cool. His character was super adorable. He was
Mm-hmm.
just like you can tell he was happy to be there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Um, yeah, it was very infectious.
What if he's
Um,
in Deadpool 3?
oh, that'd be
I would be
cute.
so happy.
That would be really cute. There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot they could do with like each and every character they had in Loki.
Mm-hmm. Well, to
So
your point, friend, Mobius's character seems pretty much finished for because spoiler alert, y'all, in the very final scene of Loki, Sylvie takes Mobius back to his original life in which his variant, was the jet ski manager with his two sons. Our Mobius from the TVA really just stares off in the distance. And it's pretty much assumed that he wants to stay there and take his variant's place. I don't really know how that works, but
now
a sweet ending nonetheless.
I don't think he's gonna do that. I don't think you can do that. He
Yeah, that's what
seems.
I was gonna say. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but it's pretty clear that he's not going back to the TVA. So I think
I
it's more likely that they could bring back characters like OB and Hunter B-15.
I don't know. I think he might go back to the TVA, but I mean, you can't just like come in there and take your variant's place because it's giving WandaVision. We saw what
Oh,
happened there.
also, did you see Across the Spider-Verse? Because Miguel O'Hara tried to do the same thing, and it just didn't end
Oh
well.
wait, no, no, no! I did not see Crossfire First Friend. I didn't see it yet. I didn't
Oopsie
see it
daisy.
yet.
Oops. Oh,
No
spaghettios.
spoilers.
You didn't hear that, friend. My
No
bad.
spoilers. I mean, I know that plot point. Like the plot points are all over the place on social media,
By
but I
the
have
way,
not actually
friend,
seen
just
the
a little
movie.
bit of a warning when you watch it on Netflix. So shout out to my friend Kaylin that she actually didn't get a chance to seeing it in theaters either, that she waited until it came out on Netflix like you did. And she told me that the Netflix release version of the movie like is a little bit broken, that there's certain scenes in the movie where the audio sounds really distorted, in particular the action scenes, that the music is overpowering the dialogue, and it's just like a weird bug that Netflix has to fix with the film. So let me know if you also encounter that problem, so I could just send you like a, I don't know, just like some sort of Putlocker website so you could watch the movie, because there's a clear copy of it by now.
Okay, friend. Okay,
Yeah,
I shall do that.
because I would feel bad for you like to rent the movie for $20 on Prime Video. That's trifling.
Yeah. Um. Okay, friend. We can.
Yes,
Are you done?
transition
Yeah.
into, yeah, Jonathan Majors.
So yesterday, it was yesterday, right, friend?
Yeah,
It came out that he was found guilty of assault and I think
and
harassment or something.
harassment.
Yeah, against
What?
his ex girlfriend. What's
Yeah,
her name?
Grace Jabari.
Yeah, her. People have a lot to say in the comments of everywhere. They're like, "Oh, the justice system failed. Oh, we saw him running away from her in the video." Blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, it's a lot to take apart, y'all. We're not really here whether to debate whether if he's guilty or not. We're not that kind of podcast, but nonetheless, we definitely will be discussing what this means for the future of the character of Kang going forward in the multiverse saga of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because clearly that's going to create a bit of a roadblock.
yeah, because I mean,
Now, shout out to. Oh, sorry, friend. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just going to add something else.
yeah, because I mean, he was found guilty, so
Hmm.
we're going to act like he is.
Right. We're,
Um,
we're not the Shade Room or TMZ. Save it for there, y'all.
yeah, y'all can comment all you want, but I mean, the jury is the jury. So yeah, but because of his guilty verdict, he has since been booted from the MCU and I guess his other acting projects. And
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, that means that that's basically the end of the character of Kang the Conqueror and the one who remains. So I wonder because I wonder if he is already in some of the things that they filmed already, and I wonder if they like now have to remove him from stuff. Like I don't know how that works.
Mm. Are you finished, friend?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's unpack this. I personally don't believe that they're going to remove Kang from the MCU, honestly. I think, logically speaking, if they were to do that, it would just be a really messy risk take, just suddenly writing his character and all the importance that he's contributed throughout the MCU, because it's like everything post Avengers Endgame entering the multiverse saga has centered around building towards Kang and the next two Avengers movies. The fifth Avengers movie literally titled Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, and then the sixth Avengers film, Avengers: Secret Wars, which picks up shortly after that, which I believe, according to plot leaks, Kang at the end of Secret Wars was supposed to softly reboot the Marvel Cinematic Universe in whatever way that was supposed to be. And I really don't think that Marvel would be that dumb to just completely abandon all that. Because let's say if they did, friend, like I said, he's played way too much of a role in the MCU's multiverse saga already. And some might argue that like the Kang arc is dragging a little bit, which I don't completely disagree with. But at the same time, you have to consider if they were to completely write out the entire Kang Dynasty arc of the MCU so suddenly to swap him out with another villain, let's say Doctor Doom, as some fans are theorizing, that would be such a messy damage control. Because how would you explain that, like, Kang is just no longer a threat to the multiverse anymore, and you just have this new big bad villain now? I just don't think it would work out in the favor that Marvel would want it to. I think honestly that it would be the most logical to just recast the character of Kang. And hear me out, y'all. I don't think it would really be that ridiculous if you ask me, because with the infinite possibilities of the multiverse, there are variants of certain characters that are portrayed by different actors, so they can actually justify why Kang has a different face now. Considering that Ant-Man has already met the Jonathan Majors version of Kang, the next time that he encounters this new recasted version of Kang, they can actually acknowledge that Kang has a new face now, instead of just completely ignoring that he has a different face like most recastings would do in a television series or movie series, you know?
Yeah. Do you have any like candidates for the recast, friend?
I do, friend. I have, in no particular order, because I think they're all great actors that could pull it off. John Boyega, better known as Finn in the Star Wars sequel trilogy. Also, King Azugi, I believe. No, King. Hang on, let me look up his name. His character's name in The Woman King. His character's name was King Gizzo. John
Also
Boyega's come out
Tyrone.
and quite a,
He
yeah,
also played Tyrone.
he was Fontaine and They Cloned Tyrone, still one of my favorite movies of 2023. He was
Mm.
also in a film called Breaking back in 2022, which it was an indie film based on a true story of a Marine veteran named Brian Brown Easley, who had robbed a small bank because he wasn't paid back his reparations from the U.S. military. Really heartbreaking true story. And I think John Boyega, I think he really deserves this, honestly. If you're a Star Wars fan like me, you already know what I'm about to say, that he was done so dirty by the Star Wars universe, that he was misled into believing that he was going to be the new lead character in this new trilogy as the new Jedi. That was not the case at all, and despite that, he was marketed holding the lightsaber and everything, because, they just needed the white girl, like, to take the black guy's place, because they just weren't. Because I remember when John Boyega was first announced to join the Star Wars universe back in 2013, when Disney had bought the rights from Lucasfilm to the Star Wars universe, that John Boyega would be playing a black stormtrooper and one of the new protagonists. There was the uproar that you would imagine. And I guess Disney had just backed out of the decision to make him, a stormtrooper to a Jedi Knight, and it's just really effed up.
That's weird. Ew.
Yeah.
My knowledge of Star Wars is very limited.
Mm-hmm.
All I know is the one that played the young Darth Vader.
Kylo Ren, his name, Adam Driver.
No,
Hmm.
no.
Hayden Christensen, Anakin
Yeah.
Skywalker from the early
hmm
2000s.
Um, I know about the guy who plays Ian Gallagher from Shameless was also in that video game.
Mm-hmm.
And then John Boyega. That's it. That's all I know.
Yes. And what was I about to say? Yes, the other actors that could potentially be recasted as Kang. Now, going back to John Boyega one more time before I list the other two or three actors, as much as I would love John Boyega to be Kang, as I said, I think he really deserves this really big role. I'm not exactly sure how he could be convinced to work with Disney again, nonetheless, despite that he's working with Marvel, because of how dirty he was done by Disney when he was in the Star Wars universe. But who knows if they could work something out. And not to get too sidetracked, the other two actors that I had in mind is an actor named Damson Idris. He's better known as Franklin Sate, known through the FX original series, which has concluded recently this past, I think it finished in April, if I remember correctly, but I was really late to the party, and I just finished it on Hulu recently. Great series.
Yeah.
And Franklin Saint, he's no hero type of character, so we know that Damson Idris can play a complex evil character like Kang, because Franklin saying he's a very cold, calculative character. I could just see him pulling it off, honestly. And
He
Damson
was in
Idris, he
Swarm
just hasn't
too.
been in too many. Huh?
He was
Yes,
in
he was
Swarm
in
too.
Swarm in a very brief role. I guess he also technically played a villain in that because he was just like a really like creepy
I mean,
guy
I
that.
wouldn't say villain. I would more so say he was a douche.
Well, remember he wanted to get into Dre's pants. He was sexually harassing her at work. He was just, I guess I would count that as a villain type of character before
Yeah,
Dre
I
killed
can
him, of
see that. I
course.
can see that. Yeah. And
And yeah, that's really about all the roles that I can name from Damson Idris. Now, the last role, his name is, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, Yahya Abdul Mateen II. He is better known as Black Manta in the DC Extended Universe in the Aquaman movie that had came out back in 2018, and he's so supposed to reprise his role this December on Christmas Day, actually, when Aquaman: The Last Kingdom comes out, which will be Jason Momoa's outing as the character of Aquaman before James Gunn fully reboots the DC Cinematic Universe and inevitably recast Aquaman and Black Manta, which leads me into my point, which is why I believe that Yahya Abdul-Mateen has a better chance of joining the Marvel Cinematic Universe now as the Kang recast, considering he will no longer play Black Manta in the DC films. Aside from being Black Manta and Aquaman, he was also in the most recent Candyman movie back in 2021 as Anthony McCoy. For those who are fans of Candyman, Anthony McCoy is the grown-up version of the baby that Candyman kidnaps in the very original one from the 1990s. Very slept on film, if you ask me. Both the original film and the film that came out in 2021. I personally love them both, but let me not get too sidetracked. We could definitely talk about the Candyman movies, friend, when we get into like our spooky episode.
yeah, because you watched the most recent one, and I watched the original one recently.
Oh, you did, friend. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. When you have the chance, the newer one that I am just referring to, that it's for free on Prime Video.
Yeah. Also, friend, are you gonna go see
Hmm?
Aquaman?
I am. My family wants to go see it on Christmas Day as our Christmas movie. And then after that, my mom, she wants to go see the new Colored Purple remake, which should be interesting. I'll admit I was very skeptical of it at first because I just really have this skepticism when Hollywood tries to remake really traumatic black trauma films like The Color Purple, for example, which was really ahead of its time in the 80s, really shedding the light on the plight of black women. And when I saw the trailer starring Fantasia and Halle Bailey and Taraji P. Henson, amongst a lot of other familiar faces, I was quite impressed of how different it looks. It definitely doesn't look as rawly gritty as the original. Maybe that might be a good thing that they're trying to include more fantastical musical elements, make it slightly more lighthearted. That's not to say that they won't dive into the plight of black women, but I feel the thing when having remakes these days, especially of classics from the 80s and 90s, you just have to reimagine it a different way sometimes because it goes back to why we started this podcast. It was actually our very first episode. We were talking about the Bel Air series on the Peacock app. That when I had first heard that they were remaking the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, like a lot of other people, I had just had my arms up in the air. Oh, why do they got to touch a classic? They're just gonna make this cheesy if they're gonna remake an entire sitcom. That wasn't the case at all. They were reimagining it as a modern day drama while, of course, staying true to the original story. And that's what they're doing with the New Color Purple film, staying true to the original story, but while also stealing some elements from the Broadway musical and just a lot of also original elements of its own. So should be interesting. Should be interesting. Are you gonna go see the New Color Purple movie, friend?
No, but I will see it at home when it comes out. At home.
Yeah, it'll definitely stream on HBO Max because it's owned by Warner Brothers.
Yeah, I'll go see that then. I'm not gonna see Aquaman because no.
Mm-hmm.
As said continuously, I'm not a DC girly. Never been a
Mm-hmm.
DC girly. Never will be a DC girly. And the limited DC movies that I actually have seen on purpose and not through force, Aquaman has never been one of them.
I don't
So
blame you. It's not one of the greater ones.
yeah. But yeah, back to the whole Jonathan Majors thing. He was like booted out of the MCU like immediately.
Effective
hours,
immediately. They did not wait.
hours after the verdict drops, like no waiting period, no time for an appeal, no. But notice how there is a similar actor, well, not similar, but an actor who has done arguably worse things than what Jonathan Majors has been convicted of, which is Ezra Miller, who was in the
Mhm.
who has played the Flash, and also were they in the that Harry Potter thing?
Yes, the Fantastic Beast. It's a
Yeah,
spin-off prequel of the Harry Potter film series.
yeah. They went around wreaking havoc against many people. Um,
They
they
they did
also
a lot.
allegedly
It's there's
they were
like
also
someone made like a whole time span of all of Ezra Miller's crimes from 2019 to 2023 that domestic assault. They
talking to
strangled a
minors.
woman that wanted a picture with them, talking to minors, kidnapped a minor, supposedly, this young Native American girl. I don't know how true that aspect is, but I really wouldn't be surprised if it is true. um Theft, armed robbery. It's the list just goes on and on. It is just so beyond me. To your point, that like we said, y'all, we're not here to debate whether if Jonathan Majors is guilty. We know that he is tried guilty, and it is what it is. But the double standard comes in that frustrates us. That there's clearly a benefit of the doubt, white privilege, of when it comes to the crimes of Ezra Miller, that they have gotten a pat on the back to continue filming not only Fantastic Beasts 3, but the Flash film. The Flash film is where things get more interesting, friend, because would you believe me if I told you that the Flash film was originally slated for 2018? The film has been in delay for 5 or 6 years. So they easily could have canceled this film once those crimes from Ezra Miller had arisen, but they had continued to film.
Yeah,
Even
very
Issa Rae,
strange.
even even Issa Rae had called out the double standard and the problematicness of keeping Ezra Miller like as the Flash, like keeping on the production.
Yeah, and people have said that like, oh well, Jonathan Majors is newer to the scene and Ezra Miller has been here, but like, in what? Because the only thing
But
I've
that
seen him
still
in,
doesn't make is
yeah,
right. And
the
what?
only yeah, the only thing I've seen him in besides that Harry Potter thing and the Flash was Personal Wallflower, which was in like 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares about that? Nobody cares. And before that, he had like,
Mm-hmm.
as far as we know, he had like minor roles in other things, but like, who was watching that?
Wasn't he in
I mean,
Perks of a Wallflower with Logan Lerman?
yeah,
Excuse me,
that's what I
not
said,
he,
friend.
they.
Yeah, that's what I said, friend. But
Oh,
yeah,
my,
I
my
mean,
apologies, friend.
honestly, y'all, can y'all tell me, have you ever seen a movie called City Island?
Mm-hmm.
No. Crickets. Nobody knows what that is.
And one more thing, shout out to Fantastic Frankie, the fanboy fighter, one of my favorite Blurred creators out there. That she had made a very interesting video pertaining to Jonathan Majors, which I will play her audio right now so we could build off of some of her points. I would love to have her on our podcast one day. I know we talk about all things blurry, but unfortunately, I'm not mutuals with her. She is mutuals with one of my other mutuals, Kyra, who runs the page Room Full of Blurs. Go follow Kyra if you're a blurred. Because if not, we're gonna take your blurred card. But seriously, y'all, they're both dope. Give both Fantastic Frankie and Room Full of Blurs a follow. And here is the particular video that Fantastic Frankie made in regard to Jonathan Majors' case.
Marvel's really in trouble. This is not going to be a conversation on whether or not I think Jonathan Majors is guilty, because that conversation gets gross really quickly. But I wanted to discuss his huge role in the MCU and what options they have now that he will be going to jail for about a year. Now, they could wait for him. They could wait for him to fulfill his sentence and bring him back. They already hired Robert Downey Jr. Having a rap sheet shouldn't stop his bag. But damn, the optics of waiting for a convicted abuser and then centering your universe around him. abysmal, terrible. Option 2 would be to get rid of the King storyline altogether. Honestly, I don't think that that's a bad option, because the Loki storyline kind of wrapped up on King. And quiet as kept, I don't think the King storyline was giving what it was supposed to give. If Secret Invasion was any indicator of what King Wars was gonna look like, I'm okay. Final option here is to recast. I've been hearing whispers of y'all taking Yaya, and as your resident DC fan, I want to say that y'all can't have him, but I would love the prospect of him getting more work, and I think he would be an incredible King. I can't be in the way of his bag, but this is our Dr. Manhattan. This is our Black Manta, and y'all trying to take him. It doesn't sit right with me. I'm not going to hold you. Half of it is me being selfish. Half of me is saying there are other fine, tall Black men who could fulfill this role. But I want to hear from you. What do you think is the best option? I don't.
Shout out to Fantastic Frankie once again, building off of her. We had already discussed the aspect of A, completely scrapping Kang from the MCU, which me and you came to the conclusion doesn't seem the most logical idea. That would just be a real train wreck of a damage control. And then we have option Dose, which is the recast Kang. We have said John Boyega, Damson Aegis, and Yahya Abdul Mateen II. And the third option, which we had not discussed yet, is that the potential that Marvel Studios would wait a year that Jonathan Majors is most likely going to serve in prison and then resume filming the Kang scenes that he was supposed to film for these next two Avengers from the time that he gets out. Now, I'm going to have to respectfully disagree with that one. As much as we would want that to be true, the thing is comparing Jonathan Majors' comeback story to Robert Downey Jr. It just doesn't go hand in hand with one another when you consider that Robert Downey Jr. has the pat on the back of the benefit of the doubt of white privilege on his side. Jonathan Majors being a black man caught up with the entanglement domestic violence of a white woman, not a good look. What do you think, friend?
Yeah, and first of all, that's like basing it off the idea that he's going to actually serve a year in prison. Like I've heard different people saying like, oh, he might serve a year or he might get probation.
Mm-hmm.
Just like debates about his sentencing thing. And then even with the Robert Downey Jr. thing, it's like not only does he have the white privilege thing, but he also had the popular vote of social media at the time. Like
Mm-hmm.
now, as time has gone forth, now people are starting to be on the side of Amber Heard. But beforehand, people were like all over it for Robert Downey. And wait a second, friend,
Take your time, friend.
is this not Robert Downey?
You mean Johnny Depp?
Yeah, sorry.
You're good, friend.
Um, I just had the biggest brain fart in my head. So I'm like, wait a minute. But yeah, and not only do they have like the white privilege thing and also the popular vote, but also they have the the history. They have the history of being in the limelight and being popular in the limelight for decades. I mean, one of the first movies, one of the oldest movies that I've seen with him in it was The Outsiders, I think,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm remembering correctly. But yeah, and sadly, Jonathan Majors doesn't have any of those things.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that
I
you can't
completely
really.
agree, friend. I would love to build off of you that I feel a thing with relying on a comeback story with Jonathan Majors. So, like I said before, this black man does not have white privilege on his side, to say the least. And then you have the aspect number dose. I feel a comeback story just wouldn't work the same way in the sense that it did for Robert Downey Jr., considering, to your point, he had a career already going for him throughout the 80s and the 90s. It's not like when he went to prison, he was in one or two movies and then, he served his time in prison, Because that's why it was such a big comeback for him when he was casted as Iron Man. Now, on the other hand of Jonathan Majors, He had only made his breakout debut in 2020 in HBO's original series Lovecraft Country, which would then land him recognition for being landed in roles such as Damian Anderson, the antagonist in Creed 3, and I do not remember the name of the main protagonist, but the real life, I believe it was a World War II aviator pilot that he had played in the film that came out back in 2022, Devotion. Now, that had really made Jonathan Majors stick out throughout the very back end of 2022, throughout 2023. He is only starting to come up, so I feel Disney and Marvel Studios will not really gain much of a comeback story when he doesn't have too much to come back to just yet.
Yeah. And that would just be too fast. A comeback is like, oh, you've been gone for a minute, now you're back.
I don't think Marvel.
Oops, sorry, friend. I mean the
But
Valium.
I mean, they're trying to make his comeback anywhere from like a couple months to a year. That's not a comeback. That's a hiatus.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't think that's gonna work. I think the only options they
Right.
have are to either recast or scrap it. And that's really that on that, friend. Do you have any closing thoughts on that topic?
Honestly, no, friend. I think I quite let out everything we needed to about this topic. Would you like to open us up to our new one?
All right. So, new topic, friends. We all know, I mean, you should know what is going on within Palestine and
Mm-hmm. The country of
Israel.
Palestine, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Sudan, Haiti, the West Papuas, Guyana. The list goes on. Free all of these countries, to say the least, because they are all going through it. But continue, friend.
Yeah, and there has been a big thing recently within the celebrity world and the social media, social justice of Zionism. Zionism. Let's
Mm-hmm.
look up the actual definition of Zionism. Let's go to Webster's dictionary. Okay. So a Zionist is a supporter of Zionism, a person who believes in the development and protection of a Jewish nation in what is now Israel. Now, the thing with Israel is that they back a couple decades ago, they invaded Palestine and stole land from Palestinians to create the nation that is now Israel. So that land was not theirs. Um, so people who support Zionism are basically supporting um, taking land, stolen land, essentially. And so many a celebrity has come out of being a Zionist, or at the very least, not doing the correct research and just reposting what everybody else is reposting. But one of the most biggest and most popular cases of Zionism within our generation, friend of Gen Z, has been the actor from Stranger Things,
Mm-hmm.
Noah Schnapp. He came out in many a post. He did that really weird video where he was like wearing a shirt or like a hat or something. I don't know. It's just like Zionist or
He
sexy.
made his own merchandise, friend.
Yeah, and it's like, first of all, who's buying that?
You'd be
um,
surprised, friend. I was like, he had like lines like waiting for him.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was
But
bad.
also like in the terms of his Stranger Things career, I feel like he's the only actor from that show that we have not seen in anything else.
Boom.
I've never seen him in a like I've seen Millie, I've seen I
Caleb
forgot
McLaughlin, Finn
Yeah, I've seen
Wolfhard,
them. I've seen literally all of them in
David
a
Harbour.
different. I've seen all of them in a different show or a different movie, except for him. Like, babe, you're not booked and busy. You have
Mm-hmm.
that one role. I've never seen you
Even
in
Joe
anything else.
Curie. Even Joe
Yeah,
Curie's been booked.
yeah, I've seen him in a bunch of stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
you, babe, you have nothing else going for you. Like, this is it. Mind you, your character is barely in the show.
And to
He's
think he was the
constantly
protagonist in the first season, he just was benched like from
he,
2 to 4.
He's constantly getting kidnapped. He's constantly sick. He's constantly off screen. Like at this point, nobody cares about you. Nobody cares.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody cares. Like you are no longer the main character. Nobody cares. They care about everybody else but you. Even like only reason people care about you this season is in relation to another character. Nobody
Mm-hmm.
cares about your character. They care about Will and Mike. Sorry, friend. I'm drawing a
No,
blank
you're good, friend. You're good. Take your
on
time.
these characters' names. But yeah, they care about you in relation to a different character. So I mean, let's see. What else has he been in? He was in The Tutor. I don't know
Can't
what
say I've
that
heard of
is.
it.
The Peanuts movie, which was in 2015, which is before Stranger Things.
Not
Um,
even counting that, friend, because who would have known that?
the movie Abe. I don't know what that is. He was in Hubie Halloween with I think Adam Sandler. I mean, I saw that it was on Netflix, but then again, literally everybody and their mama was in that movie, so that's not a flex. Waiting for
Mm-hmm.
Anya. I don't know what that is. The Angry Birds movie. Okay. Stranger Sharks. What is that? Bridge of Spies. Also before Stranger Things.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not booked and busy, babe. So for you to come out and do this really weird stuff and be like, oh, well, the excuse is I'm
And so
Jewish.
comfortably as well.
Yeah, the excuse like, oh, I'm Jewish. Okay.
Anti-Semitism and Zionism is not the same thing, my friends.
Like it's
Let's read a book now.
two separate things, and also you're American. Which is
Mm-hmm.
you're American. Like that. Like what? That's literally not. That reminds me of that girl who like got a Starbucks coffee, and she's like, "Oh," she like took a picture of her Starbucks coffee. She's like, "Oh, I'm so afraid. I'm Jewish. I'm so afraid of everything that's going on over there." Girl, you're in LA. What are you afraid of?
Mm-hmm.
What are you scared? You are in LA. You're in your bins with a Starbucks coffee in
To
LA. Like recognize your
to build.
privilege.
Oh, I wasn't sure if you were finished, friend.
Yeah, recognize your privilege. And then the other actor who was well known about this thing was Gal Gadot. You have more to say about that, friend. I think.
I sure do, friend. I literally have all the receipts pulled up from her Instagram. I really just want to start with this, my friends. I am truly so glad that James Gunn is rebooting the DC Cinematic Universe now, because if it weren't for James Gunn, Gal Gadot would still have a career as Wonder Woman. So good riddance, and not so God bless. So let us pull up her receipts. Literally in her bio, I stand with Israel. She has disabled all of her comments for all the more obvious reasons. And she has just been spreading all of these false propagandas about the people of Palestine, trying to use the excuse of why don't you contend Hamas instead of the country of Israel. The typical Zionism BS, friend. The typical stuff, to say the least. And
Yeah,
that this is the original land, and that I'm not much of a religious person, but I'm trying to quote her the best I could, that she's trying to use the religion of Judaism on her side, saying that that the land of Palestine is the true land of the Israelis, and that they all must go, and that if they won't go, we will force them to go. It's really scary reading this, honestly.
that's
Like
weird.
to
Also, sorry to interrupt you, friend, but I just read her Wikipedia. Apparently, she was crowned Miss Israel in 2004.
I wouldn't be surprised, because she didn't start acting until Fast and Furious, friend, which was in 2011. And to my
She was in
awareness,
Fast and Furious.
yeah, she was in Fast 5 through 6.
Oh, I did not know that, friend. But yeah, she apparently represented the country of Israel in the Miss Universe 2004 pageant.
For another fun fact, which I guess it's not super surprising why she's so fascistly aligned with Israel, she had also served her time in the Israeli military. Patriotic, to say the least.
Yeah. That's also on the opposite side of the spectrum, with an actor who is Palestinian, not an actor, a model who is Palestinian, is Gigi Hadid.
I've heard her
Who
name a lot, friend. I'm not exactly sure who she is. Can you fill me in?
okay, Gigi Hadid is sister to Bella Hadid.
I don't know
She's
who
a
that is either.
model. Friend, that's kind of crazy. I'm sorry.
I'm
Basically,
sorry, y'all, but look, I've been under a rock this past month and a half. You guys gotta give me some time to recuperate, but continue.
okay, they are sisters and models who had a TV show back in the day. And Bella Hadid dated The Weeknd, and Gigi Hadid dated Zayn Malik and had a baby with him. And they are beautiful people. But Gigi Hadid is Palestinian, and she has come out um, and supported Palestine, and she was like
Mm-hmm.
just saying, that she cited the systemic mistreatment of the Palestinian people by the government of Israel, and she's like been posting on her socials, like people like in her comments are calling her anti-Semitic and stuff, and it's just like really strange. And then Oh, and then actress Susan Sarandon has also been dropped by her talent agency for making some proper comments that she made in the pro-Palestinian rally. And then also, speaking of getting dropped, we have to talk about Melissa Barrera,
That we
who
do.
was fired from Scream for posting uh, a lot of support for
Awareness
Palestine.
for the Palestinian people.
Yeah, she was posting a lot of things on her story and her Instagram and like all of her socials and using her platform for
Mm-hmm.
a good cause. But apparently, the what company is Scream done by?
I don't remember exactly, to be honest. Let me look that up.
But basically, she was cut from the cast of the seventh Scream movie by the producers, who said that they had zero tolerance for anti-Semitism and incitement to hatred. And then subsequently, after the firing of Melissa Barrera from Scream, immediately after that, Jenna Ortega. What do you say, friend? What was it? What's the company?
No, you can finish, friend.
I was like,
No,
immediately
the
after.
company is Paramount, the Spyglass Media Group, and Miramax.
Yeah, Spyglass and Miramax. And so after they fired Melissa Barrera, Jenna Ortega quit soon after. And it has not publicly
Mm-hmm.
come out as to why she did that. But she said in videos in the past that, like, if Melissa Barrera were to leave the Scream franchise, then she would be living with her. And so, I mean, I don't think that her quitting at this immediately after Melissa Barrera was fired is anything of a coincidence. I think she was standing on
Not at all.
business and doing what she was going to say, and I also believe that I think she has also said something about it. I don't know, and
I don't
also like
follow either of them, so I can't say. But
and then
continue.
also even with Tom Cruise is surprisingly on the right side of history, because he prevented his own agent from losing her job after she referred to the genocide on her Instagram account, which is like, I mean, bare minimum. But Tom Cruise is rarely on the right side of history, so I mean, I feel like it kind of has to be acknowledged. And
I'm not gonna
then
lie, friend. I'm really surprised about Tom Cruise.
yeah, I was too. And then also, childhood icon Selena Gomez has been criticized for not taking a stronger stance on on the issue. And speaking of, lots of people signed a petition. Lots of celebrities and actors signed a petition for a ceasefire and the safe release
Mm-hmm.
of hostages. Um,
For You're talking about the ceasefire for the people of Palestine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And apparently,
Because I know, I don't mean to interrupt you, friend, but I was just making that question in particular because I know that there is also a form that some celebrities were signing that it was in some sort of, I don't know, some sort of financial aid to Israel, and that a few celebrities signed it, and it's, yeah, I'll let you continue, friend.
yeah, but Selena Gomez has been like criticized for not taking a stronger stance on the issue, but she did allegedly sign the petition for the ceasefire along with Hadid, Jennifer Lopez, Joaquin Phoenix, and um, Abbott Elementary creator Quinta Brunson.
Quinta Brunson.
Yeah. And then along with Abbott Elementary, notably actors Tyler James Williams and what's the actress who plays Miss Shimenti?
I do not remember her name, friend. I'm looking up as we speak.
Basically, they actually did not sign the petition.
Her name
And
is Lisa Ann Walter.
okay, thank you, friend. So Tyler James Williams and Lisa Ann Walter notably did not sign the petition. And I believe that Tyler James Williams was one of those celebrities who reposted someone from something from somebody else's page about the Israel thing in support of Israel. And then speaking of Abbott Elementary, I don't believe the actress who plays the principal signed the petition either. But also, basically
Yeah, I don't
the
know if that was confirmed. Some of them are a little up in the air.
yeah, basically
But continue, continue.
the cast of the Abbott Elementary show are in hot water right now, with the exception of Quinta. For both the Palestine
Wait,
Israel
what
thing,
about Cheryl Lee Ralph? I didn't hear what
I,
side she's
haven't
on.
heard about that either, friend. Um,
What about that guy that plays Jacob? I didn't hear about his stance either.
I haven't heard anything from any of them, friend.
I don't know. Continue, friend, continue.
But I guess we can say that they're not in hot water since we haven't heard about it.
Right.
But yeah, notably the cast, excluding those three people, are in hot water for both the Palestine and Israel thing, but also for the actress who plays the principal on Abbott Elementary. Do you know her name, friend?
Janelle James.
Yeah, Janelle James is also in hot water for her comedy routine, where basically she talked about her minor adolescent son's genitalia, and saying how she finally realized that he was a man on stage in front of a crowd of people, but also it was recorded and put online, which is just a really weird joke to make. I feel like you should like keep your kids out of your jokes, because I
Mm-hmm.
imagine like being him and then going to school after that. Like I couldn't do that. And then also speaking of comedians who are in hot water, friend, I forgot to bring this up, but Matt Rife has. Do you know who that is, friend?
No, friend, enlighten me.
Okay, Matt Rife. It was from Wildin' Out. He was basically their token white guy on Wildin' Out. You probably know him from that clip where he was rapping to Zendaya and he fumbled the bag badly,
I
crashed and
briefly remember
burned.
that.
Yeah, crashed and burned. The jokes didn't hit. She didn't laugh. But yeah, but he went on to get plastic surgery and basically do a rebrand, because basically he um essentially got canceled because people asked him like, did he want to be one of the popular like white comedians in black spaces, like another white comedian in a black space who basically made his money off of that. And he was like, no, I didn't want to be, I don't want to be put in a box. And after that he basically was removed from the internet. But then he came back after he got plastic surgery and came to TikTok and started posting his crowd work from his comedy shows on TikTok. And it like blew up. The girlies loved him. The girlies thought he was attractive. I am guilty of being one of the girlies. I fell into the trap. I did. I fell into the trap. I thought he was funny. I thought he was attractive. He also had this video with Shamar Moore. I thought that was funny. But then he recently had, I
Shamar
think,
Moore. Is Shamar Moore the guy from SWAT?
yeah,
The bald dude? Yeah.
yeah, SWAT, Criminal Minds. He was also on Soul Train. But yeah, that's Shamar
He
Moore.
was on Soul Train?
Yeah.
Huh.
And so basically Matt Rife ended up getting, I think it was a Netflix special. And he basically made a lot of misogynistic and fat phobic comments against his majority female audience. And so now, well, he got popular based off the girlies, and now the girlies no longer like him. So now he is no longer popular. People have since making fun of his many surgeries, his appearance, his lack of joke.
Tisk,
Because I
tisk,
mean,
tisk.
notably on his TikTok, like I said, friend, he was only posting his crowd work. He was not posting his actual comedy sessions, his actual comedy shows. So yeah, and like me personally, I only saw whenever he posted his crowd work, he was on stage and somebody was recording from the point of view of the audience, so you did not see his face up close. But friend, when I saw a picture of his face up close, I was like, "Oof, jump scare!" The jump scare, friend. I was afraid. So yeah, that was a mess. So yeah, I mean, moral of the story is, if you like, how do you fumble the bag twice? You found two niches, you found two boxes to fit into, and you didn't want to fit them to them so bad. Now they're gone. You don't have any boxes left. You like, they're, it's done. It's gone. So yeah, also we have to talk about back to the topic again. We talk about the boycotts. Most notably the
Yes.
Starbucks boycott, which has been a problem for many a people for some reason. Like, I get it, people love Starbucks, but like, go to your local coffee shop, support small businesses. Go to
Right.
Dunkin'. Dunkin' Donuts
You
has
could
coffee.
literally go to your local. You could literally go to your local diner and ask for coffee takeout.
Yeah. Also, like, go to Dunkin' and get a coffee and a donut.
You could go to a
Sorry,
bodega.
I'm
You could get coffee just about anywhere you go. You could literally. I don't
literally
think there's no restaurant that doesn't have coffee.
Literally. And then like also I feel like you'll be a lot happier in the morning if you got coffee and a donut than coffee in those dry egg sandwiches. Be for real. Um but yeah, friend, do you have anything to say about, oh right. And also apparently there's now a Disney Plus boycott. Listen, I feel like if you are not paying for the account, if the account is not yours, if it's somebody else's and you're just watching, I don't think that's a problem. I feel
Mhm.
like that's similar to the route of pirating, because they're not getting your money personally. So yeah, do you have anything to say about that, friend?
I feel that. No, I completely agree. Like, let's say if you're paying for your own subscriptions like Disney Plus, notably in this case, that's a completely different story. You're feeding your money to Israel. But let's say, like, the account that you watch Disney Plus on, that you're not paying for that subscription to Disney Plus. That might belong to your parents, grandparents, aunt, uncle, who the heck knows that, who you're getting your profile from. Then I guess it's a little bit less of a problem, because it's like, let's say you try to convince your relative to get rid of the subscription, but they're being stubborn and you don't want to. Then you truly tried your best. There's other ways to boycott, To your point, there's so many coffee alternatives. And going back to boycotts, aside from Starbucks and Disney Plus being the most notable, a few others are McDonald's, Burger King, Pizza Hut, pretty much a good
Pizza
majority of like
Hut,
A-list like fast food chains. Yeah, I
not
believe
Pizza
Pizza Hut was
Hut.
one of them.
Oh, it's a sad day.
And
I,
and then also for the boycotts of the Democratic Republic of Congo, you have Microsoft products, Apple products, just pretty much any big tech company, really. Samsung, and you name it, really. Like anything that makes iPhones, laptops, TV flat screens, iPads, anything along those lines.
I don't think people are gonna be doing that, friend, because
Yeah,
people
and
get
here's
them
the
a new
thing,
phone
friend.
every
I
day.
hadn't. Yeah. Oh, friend, best believe after seeing what the African kids in Congo do just to make one cell phone. I'm going to run this iPhone 13 down to the ground until like it literally smokes and explodes. Then I'll only upgrade, because no.
Yeah.
But yes, not to get too sidetracked. We were talking about the boycotts.
Oh
Yes,
yeah.
going back to the Democratic Republic of Congo for one moment. So I had an interesting conversation with one of my mutuals of how we're going to solve this cobalt problem, because cobalt is a particular mineral that's mined for in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and why the Western nation countries are draining the resources out of what's called the heart of Africa. A lot of people were saying that, what if we stop making smartphones, laptops? I'm just like, you really got to be a little realistic. Like, come on now. Like, the technology that's the technology we use in our everyday lives, that it's literally an everyday way of living. There's no way that they're just going to ban laptops and smartphones and etc. Now, if you ask me, I don't know how entirely possible it is, but hey, I say nothing's impossible. Who knows if 100 years or even 50 years that we will be able to do this? What if we were able to make smartphones, laptops, and etc. just out of a different material that does not require the inhumane mining and modern day slavery in the Democratic Republic of Congo for cobalt? What if we were to make it out of plastic, for just some dumb example? I'm not saying that we literally should make it out of plastic, but like, you know what I mean? There's got to be some other way that scientists come up with some other substance to replace cobalt that it doesn't require this amount of like labor.
Yeah, I agree, friend. I think anything, like I said, I think, like you said, I think anything is possible if they really put their minds to it. Because I bet if it was little white kids having to mine this product, they would have found a
They would
way
have
for them
found
to
out
do it real
overnight.
fast, real quick. It would have been done dizzy, no questions about it. Also, speaking of other boycotts, other notable companies include like many candy companies. I think I saw Kit Kats on the list.
Oh
Hold on.
man,
Let's look up the boycott thing,
I
because
think I
somebody made a
still have a
picture.
list from the official boycott Instagram page, because some of the boycott lists are a little inaccurate. You can pull up yours, by the way, friend. I'm just trying to find the one that I found that a lot of people were referencing.
Oh yeah, Nestle, Crunch, Coca Cola, apparently Victoria's Secret, Gap,
Sprite,
Kleenex.
Fanta, Pepsi,
Kleenex is crazy.
Puma.
Neutrogena, Listerine, Clean and Clear,
Um,
L'Oreal, Maybelline, Mac, Chanel. I mean, well, that's to be expected. Subway, Papa John's, Pizza Hut, Smart Water.
did you say Dove already?
Um, did I say what?
Dove, the soap brand.
No.
Yeah, that's another one. Speaking of Puma and Starbucks, I know that they've lost like a lot of revenue recently because of the boycott, so something's got to be working.
Actually, friend, speaking of boycotting, apparently, I was watching a video on this earlier. The video was by, I'm gonna shout out the YouTuber. Once my YouTube decides to load. The video is by Jesus. The video is by Life with Bree on YouTube. Basically, apparently, this goes into the whole conversation of capitalism, which I guess kind of ties into boycotting. But basically, major egg distribution companies were getting together and basically monopolizing the prices and driving the prices of eggs up so high, and it was discovered, and so they were taken to court for it. Because many people were noticing why, noticing and wondering why the prices of eggs were so high. Well, this is why they decided to play monopoly with eggs
Mm-hmm.
on in this economy.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Couldn't tell you. But yeah, and this could just go into so many different topics. But we only have so many minutes in a day.
Mm-hmm.
But we would
Yes, to
definitely.
build off of the boycotts one more time, friend, I had recently read that Puma that they have officially cut ties with the Israeli soccer football team.
Oh,
Yeah, they don't sponsor them anymore.
oh, interesting. Um. So yeah.
Oh, friend, I just found this out. Was it 2 days ago? Have you ever heard of the company named Zara? I have not heard of that brand until now. I really can't lie.
Yeah, it's a clothing brand.
I know it's under a really big boycott right now because from what I collected, that Zara had a particular photo shoot that was mimicking like the bombings that were going on in Gaza.
What?
It's a long story, friend. I could send it to you on TikTok. It's really weird and disturbing, though.
Actually, speaking of that, you just reminded me of another actor who has come under fire recently, which is Timothy Chalamet for his
What did Timmy Boy
SNL.
do?
Apparently, in his SNL skit, he made a homage joke. Now,
Oh,
granted,
one of my mutuals told me about that. Shout out to my mutual bunny. They told me that.
yeah, granted, to give him the benefit of the doubt, I'm not sure how much of the SNL skits the actors who come on actually have a hand in writing, and I don't know how much they can actually pick and choose what they say when it comes to those skits. So just to say that, but the joke was really not not well timed. And then recently, with his film of Wonka coming out, people have been saying boycott it and not watch it. People are saying not to watch Dune, and that whole thing.
I forgot about
Uh,
Dune.
yeah, I forgot about it too, but I saw a trailer for it the other day. So yeah,
Not
that's
that
the
it
whole.
makes a big difference, but did Timothy write that line, or he
That's
was paid
that's
to
what I was
say
saying.
that line?
That's what I was saying, friend. I was wondering how much, like, when actors go on SNL, I wonder how much they actually
Yeah,
have a hand in the writing process of it, or
yeah.
if
Like
they're
I'm
just
not
like
trying to
told to say these
justify him or
things.
anything. Like I'm just like dead curious because I'm still finding out about this.
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that, but that's what I was wondering myself as well. And do you have anything else to say about the boycotting, friend, or do you want to switch topics now?
Let me think. Let me think. If it's one more thing that I will add, friend, going back to what you had brought up, like, with the subscriptions to Disney Plus, that, if you're not the one that's paying for your Disney Plus and you can't talk your relative out of unsubscribing from it, that there's so much that you can do. Now, McDonald's is another really notable chain that, funds Israel. And I feel that's where things get a little bit more complicated because you have to consider people that are living in lower income neighborhoods. McDonald's is the cheapest meals that they might get every night, and that they don't really have too many other alternatives that may be considered cheap, let alone Whole Foods. And it's just like a really messed up situation. I really don't believe it to be a coincidence that the government puts a bunch of fast food chains like in a bunch of low income, like black and brown neighborhoods like McDonald's, because, like I said, that's the cheapest to a good meal that it's going to get for them. And it's like, when they got no choice, like, that's where a lot of that money's going to go. And where's that money going? Israel. It's like almost connected in some way.
Yeah, I agree, friend. Also, speaking of the government, I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna pivot topics real quick, and this topic is gonna lead into the next topic.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear about the tape, friend, from the Senate?
Tape. I don't think so. Enlighten me.
Okay, so basically, there was a young man who I guess has an OnlyFans or something. I don't know, but he works in politics. He was on the Biden party. Like there's videos of him being there. But I think he's around between the ages of 20 and maybe 24. I don't know. But basically, he and a mystery politician. Many people have
Mm-hmm.
guessed who this politician is. Basically, they in the Senate courtroom recorded a tape together. I'm sure you can guess the contents of the tape, friend. It was explicit. And the person recording was basically, panning around, showing that they were in the Senate courtroom. Obviously he got exposed for it because he posted it on his close friends. Why would you do that? Couldn't tell you. And that has since caused lots of controversy throughout social media. Many of people, like I said, have been trying to guess who the politician is. And so taking that situation with the government and leading right into the next situation as far as tapes with young men, we can discuss the Diddy allegations.
Yes,
Um,
I know you have a lot to say about that, friend. I'll let you
I
have the
do,
mic on
friend.
this one.
Recently, well, not even recently, it has been said for years that Diddy has fadiddled um, young boys and men. Most notably, most notable allegations of that include singers like Usher and Justin Bieber. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then also the boys in his house, according to like his maids, and he has also allegedly, a strong allegedly, had a hand or some type of involvement in the removal of breathing capabilities from his ex-wife, ex-partner, the mother of his kids. Um, Allegedly, he had some type of hand in that. Actually, the woman who created the Juicy Couture brand. Hold on, let me look up her name real quick because her name is Kamora Lee Simmons. Sorry, I just remembered it. She came
Yeah, you're
out.
good, friend.
She came out on, I think it was a live or some type of story where she was supporting those allegations of him being involved in her unaliving. And then we have singer Cassie, who had many a bop back in the early 2000s. Um, did she sue him? I don't know, but I believe she sued him or at least took him to court and got paid lots of money. But she had many allegations against him. I think she came out with a book about what he did to her. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
apparently he
So he
had an
pretty much
involvement.
pulled a O.J. Simpson.
I don't know. I don't know about that, but I don't know. Um, and
Oh,
also he had a hand in the harassment and assault of rappers like Kid Cudi, I believe,
Cuddy too?
Wale. Yeah, while I think he blew up Kid Cudi's car.
Actually, I think I think Cuddy did say something along those lines on his Instagram story. Now that you say that,
Yeah, he also dangled Wale over a balcony for allegedly talking to Cassie. He's harassed many a rapper. He's harassed many a woman. He's harassed many a boy. Allegedly, strong allegedly, very. Let's start this now. These are all alleged things, alleged crimes. But yes, many people have noticed that many a person who has been involved with Diddy or who have been around Diddy have either been locked up, put in the grave, or basically blacklisted in the industry. And so people are taking notice. People are saying that Diddy is now being focused on. He's basically like now the new R.
mm-hmm.
Kelly. People are saying they should come up with a surviving Diddy Netflix special. Um, I don't think that would be a good idea. He's a dangerous person, which
I
is why I
don't
would
like how they
say,
try to capitalize off of those victims, like they did with all the R. Kelly, all those little black girls that have now all grown up. I know there's like a whole series on Netflix, Surviving R. Kelly.
yeah. So once again, this is all alleged, but apparently people think that Cassie made a smart decision with suing him instead of taking him to court for these crimes, because now it is basically documented that he allegedly did these things and that he has now paid someone off. And so this can hopefully or possibly lead someone else to take him to court for a criminal offense. And hopefully they can use Cassie's case as help or
Mm-hmm.
evidence or of some sort. But yeah, many people who
I'm
have
not
been,
gonna lie, friend. Like, I really don't know who Cassie is. What's her relationship to Diddy again?
they were dating. Okay, recently he was dating her at the same time that I guess he was dating his ex-wife, but he was also dating her at the same time he was dating Jennifer Lopez. It's very messy situation, I believe. Basically, Cassie is a singer. She had notable tracks such as "Me and You," "Long Way to Go." She was on the track "The Boys" with Nicki Minaj,
Mm-hmm.
"Official Girl" with Lil Wayne. But yeah, she really popular back in like the mid to late 2000s, basically from like 2006 to 2008. That was like her prime, I guess. But yeah, it's a very messy situation, especially dealing with such a big. He's basically essentially a mafia member. Um, and yeah, we're seeing that prime time, modern day. And yeah, I mean, many people who were once involved with him or have been around him are coming out and talking about it on a more popular scale than they once were. I mean, notably, Usher has yet to say anything. Also, 50 Cent has come out and said some things about it as well.
I
So
know he has a lot of beef with Diddy, 50.
yeah, yeah. So it honestly it makes sense. So I mean, hopefully, maybe somebody will actually take him to court for what they are alleging that he has done. Um, and yeah, I mean, I guess that's all I can say, friend.
Mm, honestly, friend, I haven't really have. I'll definitely do it after this, but I haven't collected as much information on the Diddy allegations. I've definitely dipped my toes here and there that I know that um that there were people saying that Diddy like had arranged like to have he or her like hurt or even killed. Then I heard about the Cassie situation, which like I said, I didn't know who Cassie was until now. And then also, I think we didn't we talk about this in one of our earlier episodes, friend, that the whole Usher thing, because you had also mentioned him just now, he hasn't said anything yet. That that there's weird rumors that Usher when he was a kid sleeping over at Diddy's house, and then Diddy's like one of his security guards says that he was always weird around the kids.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
they said that.
that's all I could really say about that for now, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's it, friend. I mean, we can close out on a more positive note.
Mm-hmm.
More recently, many a trailer has come out for things releasing next year, such as the Rick and Morty anime. Um,
Yes.
I don't know who's watching that. I won't, but I mean, people
I haven't even
might.
seen the original one.
Yeah, I got to like season 4, and I was like,
Mm.
oh, and then also the Mr. and Mrs. Smith trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And then something was coming out February. Oh, Love is Blind is coming back on Valentine's Day next year, just in time. Hold on. Let's look up shows coming out 2024. Oh, Percy Jackson. That's coming out in February. The Percy Jackson show is coming out in February. I think they said February 3rd, but don't quote me.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Mr. and Mr. Smith coming out February 2nd on Prime Video. The Last Airbender coming out February 22nd on Netflix. The Walking Dead. I don't know anything about that.
I think that's the Rick and Michonne spinoff that comes out in February.
House of the Dragon is coming out season 2, summer 2024. The Penguin.
Yeah,
What?
it's a spinoff of the new Batman film with Robert Pattinson.
Oh wow. Oh, Knuckles is.
They're
They were
making
doing a
that.
spin-off of Sonic the Hedgehog with Knuckles, which is
I
interesting.
didn't know that.
I think my sister will like that a lot. But yeah, that's pretty much it as far as shows. Let's see, movies coming out in 2024. Oh, um, Inside Out.
Mm.
That's coming out. They're doing another Garfield movie for some reason. They're doing
I
another
think it's gonna
Sonic
be Chris
movie.
Pratt. I heard it's supposed to be a heist movie.
Oh,
What?
they're doing another Sonic movie. The Kung Fu Panda thing. Oh, Mean Girls. Exciting.
Oh,
Despicable Me. Oh, The Thundermans, the movie. I'm gonna tune in. Listen, I liked the Thundermans growing up.
they're making that? Is it the same cast?
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's the same cast. Deadpool is supposed to come out. Well, I mean, we shall see. Because the
Mm-hmm.
way they pushing back them MCU movies, who knows? Godzilla, X Kong, The New Empire. Oh, they're coming out with another Planet of the Apes movie. Interesting. Um,
Interesting.
The Joker is coming out. Wicked, A Quiet Place, Day One. Okay. The Bob Marley movie, the biopic is coming out.
Still a little
Oh,
skeptical, but I'll tune in.
Madam Web. I'm excited for that. They're coming with another Spider-Man.
Not in 20. I don't know if Across the Spider-Verse is still coming out in 2024. To be honest, they never clarified.
Mortal Kombat 2. Apparently, it's filming. Mufasa, the Lion King.
They're making that.
Apparently, The Cat in the Hat.
They're making everything, huh?
Oh, Community the movie. I don't know if it's coming out next year, but I'm excited for it nonetheless. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it, friend. Because as the list keeps, the Beekeeper. What is that?
Yeah.
They're making a Sesame Street movie, but but the genres it's under is adventure, comedy, and crime. So I'm confused. What type of crime are they doing on Sesame Street? But
Right. Unless
I
Elmo
mean,
steals like a bowl of cereal or something. I don't know.
that's funny. Maybe Elmo finally is gonna get his revenge on Rocco. Who knows? All right.
That was good, friend.
Ghostbusters: The Frozen Empire. I saw a trailer for that. That looked quite interesting. They that was a well produced trailer, I have to say. And then we also have
Mm-hmm.
Dune Part Two. Um, I mean, that's all the ones I care about. I don't know. But yeah. I guess that's it, friend. Do you want to close this out?
Yeah, I got you, friend. Thank y'all for tuning into the Being Effing For Real podcast. This is TJ and JD signing off. But before we sign off, we would love to give you our socials.
Um, sorry.
I think you're
Okay.
frozen.
No, I'm not frozen, friend. You can follow me. I once again have changed my username. It is now T Critiques on Instagram and YouTube and Letterboxed. And you can follow me on TikTok at Tatiana J. And you can follow me on Serialized at T
Mm-hmm.
Critiques as well. What about you, friend? What are your socials?
You guys can find me on Blurdiqua Vibes with the Z, not an S, on everything. I just keep the same username for everything. But anyways, y'all, stay tuned for our bonus episode as we will be discussing our Spotify Wraps. What else did we plan for the bonus episode, friend?
GTA 6.
Yes, the GTA 6 trailer. I'm really excited to talk about that one. And then I don't know if we'll include this in the bonus episode, but I will definitely catch up on the Five Nights at Freddy's movie and the Barbie movie, because I know you've been waiting on them for me with that one, friend. And you also have to watch Across the Spider-Verse, so we both definitely have some to catch up on.
I do. That'll probably be a main episode. But I mean,
Yeah,
since you're on break, we got the time, friends. We
I
gotta
got the
catch up.
time, friend. I have almost a month off.
Yeah, we gotta catch up. We have been
We got to do
gone.
a spooky episode.
Yeah, we've been gone a long time. So yeah,
It's
expect
good.
lots of content from us.
More to come, y'all. It's good to be back.
It's been real. And with that, that is being effing for real. Signing out. Toodaloo.
See y'all.